I think we should get a fifth car, my wife Mabel told me. I looked at her amused, as we both are cat people. We have 4 cats: Taco, a tortoise shell colored cat; Ginger, a brown cat; Gadget, a blacky Bombay cat; and Pingu, a black and white skin colored kitten. Another one wouldn't hurt, I told her. So we proceeded to buy yet another one from our local animal shelter, and made a routine for this cat, and of course our other cats. The vet visits, feeding schedules, and of course their own thing. The cat was a tabby and had an orange collar. There was a stitch on the animal's back. My wife asked, "What is that, dear?" I told her, "Oh yeah, I see it. It's likely a past thing which should make sure doesn't happen. I'm assuming the cat was probably attacked before getting rescued." The cat was fine despite it all, so it shouldn't matter too much as long as we don't pick on the stitched wound. Overall, the cat was just purring and warm. We then decided to name the cat, so it was official. My wife suggested Keto. I simply shook my head and settled more on the name Simba, which was inspired by the Lion King, as I am not a fan of naming animals after food. I mean, we have Taco, but it's too late to rename the cat. But like I was saying, animals named after food is just a way of asking for misinterpretation from idiots to eat our animals. Too dark, I know, my apologies. But to keep it lighthearted, things went well as expected. We just fed the cat milk and gave some medicine, as told, until it was nice and healthy. Now, Taco and Ginger are 2 of the more aggressive cats in our family. Taco is obviously more gentle compared to Ginger, who is the sassier one. They were playing as usual. Then Ginger and Taco attacked each other, and Pingu and Gadget panicked and ran straight into the bedroom, which led to Simba unintentionally ending up in the fight. Taco clawed pieces of the stitched area as she ran alongside Ginger. There was no fur or any blood. There was white stuffing. We both looked at each other, but the cat was fine, so we just laughed it off, thinking it was just a blanket fluff stuck under the fur. We proceeded to clean it off and move on. But what popped into my head was how the cat had more of that fluff coming out, but just underneath the fur. I'd watched too many horror movies, so my thoughts wanted to make me think of dark subject matter. I rubbed my eyes and just figured it was a simple cat skin, so I just moved up to the fur to cover it up. My wife asked, "Mortimer, honey, what's wrong?" I just waved the situation off. "Nothing, hon, nothing. I was just confused, mostly just zoned out. Sorry." My wife understood. The next day was normal. I was just reliving some old memories by booting up my NES and playing some Mario Bros. Everybody should know what this is by now. If not, look it up and buy a copy. It is fun. "Honey, what are you playing?" she asked me, and I told her. "I'm playing a classic. You know Super Mario, right?" This was what started it all, aside from Donkey Kong. I laughed, and then a shell creeper came out of the pipe and attacked me repeatedly. I sucked at this, and then I died. "Damn it," I shouted at the game. My wife told me that she could help and offered to play with me. I nodded and handed her the second controller, then started multiplayer. She laughed at what Luigi looked like and I smirked. Yeah, at the time he really was a green Mario, wasn't he? Back then, at least. Our cat, Simba, came up to me, rubbing at my leg, and hopped onto my lap. I petted him, and I guessed that I was getting too rough with him as I got scratched. "Ow, Jesus!" I pulled the cat off gently and looked at my wound. My wife stared in shock as blood dripped out, dropping onto the controller. It was deep, unusually deep. I could almost see my bone as the blood came out at a heavy rate. This was deeper than any scratch I've gotten from a cat, and the claws felt cold as they dug into the flesh. I had to get to the hospital immediately. I had that hand covered up in stitches and bandaged to prevent infections with medication, as those claws felt like metal, and I feared that the metal had some rust or something to get me sick, so I wasn't risking anything. As I got home, our other cats were behaving strangely. 𝓤𝓻 hissed constantly. I mean, she hissed a lot, but this seemed more than usual. Ginger avoided that cat entirely. Gadget just watched it, and Pingu seemed to treat it like any other cat and played with it like normal, but ended up getting injured by it. So we created a distance between Pingu and 𝓤𝓵. When night came, we went to bed. The cats were snuggled up with us, and 𝓤𝓵 was in there too, but weirdly enough, the others were on the other side of the bed. They were in their own beds to keep their distance. The next day went off as normal, well, generic at least. I was vacuuming the house and my wife was helping out with small areas I couldn't get to. I checked the bed, the food bowl and the hallway. I noticed some white specks lying around. The stuffing from last time. I vacuumed it all up and questioned where the hell all of this was coming from. Then I remembered the cat. No, couldn't be possible, right? 𝓤𝓵 has to just be messing with the blankets. Due to concern, we took him to the vet and they all showed the normal results. Okay then, maybe we were going crazy over this. But then we heard strange sound effects in the middle of the night. Mechanical whirs, clicks and fabric tearing. My wife woke up first, and then I did. Gadget was play fighting with 𝓤𝓵, but we panicked immediately the moment Gadget's claws stuck into 𝓤𝓵's fur, with wiring being the only thing heard. "Gadget, stop!" I shouted as I pulled him off, but Gadget's claws pulled off 𝓤𝓵's skin, all of it. At first we were horrified by saddened, but that all morphed into pure horror, immediately as we turned to the cat. Wires and piles of stuffing were hanging from Gadget's claw as he immediately ran at the sight of what was looking at what we were staring at. We then realized what was inside of the cat's skin. It was clearly pulled off from another cat's, and focus came at the abomination. It was a robot poorly resembling the cat that had been pulled off, but completely grey and metallic. The claws were extremely sharp, covered in my blood, but now dry, the same for the teeth. Its green eyes were glowing faintly, and its insides were just a parody of organs, all of which were made from cloth, plastic and, of course, more metal. It jumped at one of my cats, Ginger, then at me, trying to claw at my chest. I kicked it off immediately before my organs were damaged. It stood there at the doorway, my blood leaking underneath as it sat there meowing with mechanical whirs. I picked up the cat, turned on to the sink in the kitchen and placed it inside, causing this killing machine to power down. I picked up the robot, slammed it into my trash can, closing it as the garbage truck arrived the next day and emptied my trash. I haven't seen whatever that was supposed to be again, and I'm for sure sticking with 4 cats only.